You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay, and this is a program called
The Wonderful World of Wardini Books.
It's my pleasure, as always, to have in the hot seat the awesome Lou from Wardini Book and Havelock North. How you going, Lou?
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
You've got another store over there in Napier, Hastings Street.
Yes, we do.
A hive of activity and full of good reading. And we've got three fabulous books to look at today. And the first one, as usual, is a kid's book called Ninja.
Ninja! Exclamation mark, by Ari Chung. And this one I read to a group of children at Hastings Library last night. They had their Milo and Magic last night, and they loved this one. So I thought, oh, that'd be a good one to take to Ken in the morning. So here is our young ninja getting ready to do some ninjering. What do you think you need to be a ninja, Ken?
I think you need a balaclava, black balaclava, and some black pants, black pyjamas, and maybe a black belt.
You need all those things, but you need other things too.
You need to be... Oh, you look at all that. You need a ninja throwing star.
You need a thick ninja stick, silent ninja footwear.
Oh, right, yes.
Sticky ninja gloves.
Yes.
For clinging onto things. An unbreakable ninja rope and a bouncy ninja paddle. I'm not sure what that's for, but this is what you need.
You need those nunchucks.
Yes. So anyway, he's sneaking and he's creeping and he's tumbling and he's hiding, and there's a lot said in the pictures, isn't there?
Indeed.
So, you know, you can say all the words that you like, but a picture tells 1,000 stories. The target. The first
Poor
target.
old dad.
Poor old dad and the massive dog fast asleep. He's got to overcome the obstacles. So in he goes, and we go into sort of imaginative worlds as well, where he's seeing, you know, all these sort of fiery obstacles and things. You've got to show courage. Oh, that's where his paddle bat thing comes in.
All right, yes.
And find the strength to defeat angry beasts, who is actually just very fat and asleep at the moment. And then there are these gorgeous things where...
Yes, that's
Dad is shocked. Dad is shocked and appalled that Ninja has gotten him. And the mission is to capture biscuits and milk.
And look, I'm getting out of those chairs.
Yeah. And then back we are in his imaginary world where he's overcoming all challenges with his sticky gloves. And his little baby sister has noticed what's going on, and she completely dobs him in at one point. And he is dishonoured. It's terrible, terrible. But then he decides that he is going to teach his baby sister in the ways of the ninja. And off they go again. But I think most of this story is told, yes, it's told in the way it's read aloud as well, because it's a great read aloud story. You can get lots of drama into it, but it's the pictures too, and they're big
marvellous.
And they're colourful, and they show really nice relationship between, well, just all the family relationships really. If a kid's comfortable enough to be a ninja in his home, then things are going well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what can go through a kid's mind. Imaginations are great. Well, what age do you think that stops?
I've often wondered about this. You know, why don't we do that anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't creep about being a ninja, but I feel that I should.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I do that sort of thing with my grandson. He's come and stay tonight, and we do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We sort of sneak around, and he fights me and jumps on me just like a little kid there, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Does it bring it back? And you enjoy that?
That's right. Mind you, after he leaves, I wouldn't say to him, "Shall I tell you the ways of the ninja?" But we should have more fun like that, shouldn't we?
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, that's a great book for kids. And what age does it appeal to?
There were quite the range. There was a toddler hanging off its every word last night, but up to about 6 and 7 were really enjoying it. I think don't underestimate a picture book for an older kid as well, because sometimes they just like to relax into it and be told the story rather than having to read.
And were they getting into the moves like going?
I might have done a little bit of stamping of the feet, and I was sitting down, obviously, and reading the words, but yeah, they were in there, in their heads. It was great.
And the next book's got a fascinating title, Two Hitless and a Marilyn. What's that all about?
It's by Adam Andrusier, and he is a autograph hunter.
All right.
And this started when he was quite little. And so this is his memoir. And he grew up in quite an interesting family in London. And his father, Adrian, they're a Jewish family, and Adrian was obsessed with the Holocaust, as you probably would be if that's your heritage. And his mother's side of the Adam's mother's side of the family had lost grandparents she'd lost in the concentration camps. They were Czechoslovakian Jews on that side, and his father Adrian is quite a comical, larger than life character. This is all true, but Adrian collected postcards of like synagogues that the Nazis had sacked and broken things. It was almost an obsession with the broken nature of the Jews during the Holocaust and the persecution. And he gets into Israeli dancing, Adrian, the father, Adam's dad does, and then they're all dragged off to these weekends away where there's Israeli dancing workshops, and Adam and his sister and his mum don't want to go at all, but Adrian's just so into it. Adrian also has quite the large collection of pornography in the garage that Adam and his other mate, Adam B, find at one point. And there are some quite interesting conversations about but I don't think those ladies are really happy about that, So there's all sorts of conversations that these kids have picked up by looking at these pictures that they're fascinated by, obviously. But it's separated into chapters. So there's a chapter about Nelson Mandela and hunting him down when he comes over to London to meet Maggie Thatcher back in the day, and how Adam... He doesn't go to the obvious places where the crowds are. He thinks, OK, well, those two are obviously ANC guys guarding the back door of this hotel. He's not going to come in the front door of the hotel. He's going to go in the back. So he does that kind of thing.
Clever.
And he goes where the other people aren't going. And he describes things in quite funny ways. So he manages to track down Nelson Mandela, and he's gotten out of the car, and... he said, "Oh, sir, can I have your autograph?" And he just describes Nelson Mandela as completely distracted, thought he probably had an argument with Winnie in the car, and he gives him his autograph.
He's a real guy.
So he's trying to pinpoint what's going on for that very famous person in that moment. Richard Gere apparently just sort of signed it, didn't even look at him, and was very up himself. Yeah. So it's quite interesting from that kind of point of view. So there's the family dynamics in the Andrewsier household, and then there's Adam growing up in that household, and just this obsession, really, with snatching a piece of time from these celebrities. It's fascinating.
It does
and
sound
very
like a fascinating
funny.
read. And I suppose each chapter is a good read just on its own.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's talking about Frank Sinatra crops up in there because everyone... And there's also a great market in buying and trading, people's autographs. Big Daddy. Do you remember Big Daddy?
Yeah, Big Daddy, up from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Also, was it...
The Wrestler.
Oh, Big Daddy the Wrestler.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No,
Clint Eastwood,
completely different.
Liz Taylor.
Yeah.
He manages to find Liz Taylor and track her down and look her in the violet eyes. He even goes somewhere and pretends that he's Liz Taylor's son. Yeah, it's really good fun.
Sounds like a good read.
Yeah.
And the next thing you want to talk about is a regional roadshow. Tell us about that.
So there's a national organisation called the New Zealand Society of Authors, and there are so many people, published writers, unpublished writers, that are part of this. So they are bringing a really awesome roadshow to Napier on the 31st of July, which is a Saturday, so it's a couple of weeks away. And the keynote speaker is Paula Morris, who within the New Zealand literary community is massive. Great reputation. If she puts her name on something, then it's probably going to be pretty good, reliable. So she's the keynote speaker, and later on she's doing a structural puzzle masterclass about how a book is a complex puzzle and how you put it together. We've also got Rajoshi Chakraborty. I think we reviewed his book Shakti ages ago on this show, which I really liked. So he's coming, and he's going to do a workshop on the sniff of something, the trigger for an idea. So I really like that, because it's like, where do you get your ideas from?
Yes.
And then Catherine Robertson, who's living out in Moana now, she's doing a workshop on bringing characters alive, and that's something in her writing that's quite wonderful. You feel like you know all her characters. And then there's also an editing workshop from Anna Mackenzie, because some authors love that, some writers love editing, and some absolutely hate it with a passion. There's a poetry masterclass that I shall be going to with Siobhan Harvey. James Russell, who does the Dragon Brothers books, and he's also writing novels for grown-ups now. He is going to do one on creating bestsellers, because what he's done is he's self-published and he's marketed it absolutely brilliantly. He's been over to the States and sold his books over there, so he's going to talk about that. He estimates that he spends less than 10% of his time writing. Really? And he is a full-time self-published author, so he's going to tell you what he does with the marketing and all the other stuff that you have to do. You can't just write a book and expect people to buy it. Not. You've actually really got to go for it. So that is going to be one hell of a day.
Yes.
So I just wanted to flag that for listeners who are great readers, and a lot of great readers also dabble in writing. So if you go onto their website, the NZSA website, you will find the details there. Or if you just put in NZSA Regional Roadshow Napier into Google, you'll find it too.
Is it a roadshow that might appeal to someone who's, thinking about writing a book, or is it a roadshow that's really designed for people who have written a book and want to fine-tune their skills?
Both, I would say. I think it's for anybody that has an interest in writing and wants to do something about that. And I'm going from a sort of a professional development point of view as a bookseller.
Yes.
You know, okay, I want to get into the minds of these authors and see where they're coming from, because I think that will help me be a better bookseller. So anyone within that literary world, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the dates of that roadshow again?
It's on the 31st of July, which is a Saturday, and it's going to be at Napier Sailing Club in Ahuriri.
And can we just bowl up, or do you have to buy a ticket first?
No, you have to register.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a really good point, actually. And there are different levels for members of the New Zealand Society of Authors and non-members and students and people like that.
Very good. All right, Luke, just remind our listeners, we want to get a good read. Where do we get it?
Wardini Books. Where else?
Talk to the same time, same place next time.
Cool. Thanks, Kim.